We leave the motorbike in Loreto and we board the ferry to reach Monte Isola, a splendid island on Lake Iseo. And here we are, posing for you. The outbound navigation takes about an hour and stops at the coastal towns of Castro, Riva di Solto, Morone, and arrives at Siviano. The return is a little longer due to additional stops in Paradiso, immediately after leaving Siviano and Pisone, just before disembarking in Loreto. The links to the timetables and routes of the transport services can be found in the description. While sailing, we can admire the great excavation work done to the rock along the lakeside to allow the passage of railway traffic. Leaving Morone, we pass by the island of Loreto, where there is a private residence built at the beginning of the last century. We then arrive at the Siviano ferry landing. From here, we start our walk. As you can see, the route taken from Google does not present difficulties except for an initial climb to get to Siviano and then subsequently the descent on the way back. A simple, easy route, suitable for anyone. It takes a couple of hours, or a little more, and has many points where you can stop to refresh yourself, eat something, admire the landscape, have an aperitif, and taste the local products.
Don't be scared by this first uphill stretch. Take it slowly, enjoying the landscape on the lake and savoring the greenery of the island.
The clothing needed for this trip, as you can see, is certainly not the most technical or professional, but you need a good pair of comfortable shoes and a lot of desire. And here we are, us two, happy, smiling, but out of breath. A few years before the birth of Christ, a large part of Lake Iseo, then called Sabinus, was subjected to Roman rule and aggregated to the Residentia Publica Caminorum.
During the Roman domination, the first crops were planted: vineyards, chestnuts, and olive trees. We are surprised by pretty rooms, nestled in centuries-old buildings. The most used means of transport on the island is the scooter. The modano is a cylinder of willow wood that serves to keep the weaving of fishing nets consistent. In the 8th century, the hinterland of Lake Iseo, the ancient Sabino, was entrusted to the Benedictine nuns of San Salvatore by the Lombardy rulers so that they could restore it. Around 900 AD, the court of Monte Isola belonging to the monastery of Santa Giulia, formerly San Salvatore, there were 4 houses, arable land, vineyards, a forest, a port, and some farms. The life of the residents merges with those who work on the island and with the tourists.
First stop on our itinerary, with this splendid view, is our first pit stop. A spritz to start.
02 in 1091, Cluniac monks, Cluniacensi, of Provaglio founded a monastery on the island of San Paolo. In 1248, the municipality of Brescia, after its defeat inflicted by Parma and Frederick II, reoccupied the lost lands in the province, including the territory of Lake Iseo, and began the construction of the Rocca Martinengo of Monte Isola in the following decades. The Church of Saints Faustino and Giovita has been the parish of Siviano since the 16th century. The interior, with a nave with 4 side altars, is decorated with stucco and 18th century frescoes. The main altar is made of marble. During our break, we enjoyed a typical Italian aperitif, the Aperol Spritz. Thirst-quenching, low in alcohol, it imparts the flavor of an outdoor holiday. The ingredients are really easy to find: 3 parts of Prosecco, a typical sparkling wine from Veneto, 2 parts Aperol, a little sparkling mineral water and ice. The procedure is as follows. First, cool the glasses with water and ice, then empty out the ice water. Pour in the Aperol, pour the Prosecco and then the ice into the glass. Finish with sparkling water and a slice of orange as a garnish. In 1426, Republic of Venice took dominion over the lake. The liberalization of fishing rights, sanctioned by the Venetian Senate, abolishing the ancient feudal privileges, gave impetus to activities related to fishing and the manufacture of nets. Further on, we find works of art that celebrate the tradition of the centers of Peschiera and Carzano, where the centuries-old tradition of drying and preserving fish continues. The fish, dried in the sun and preserved in oil, are lake sardines called agon, chub and perch. The freshly caught fish are cleaned, washed, and dried, and then put in salt. They are then removed from the salt and washed again and hung in rows for drying on hooks fixed on a special frame. Traditionally, ash or hornbeam branches were hung on the arches, bent into an arch and held in place by a wire at the end. A technique necessary in the past to preserve fish in the absence of refrigerators or freezers, it is now a specialty of the island cuisine.
We don't want to favor one place over another, but we can say that we found ourselves there at the right time. The scenery was stunning, the place beautiful. We calmly ate a soup of lake fish and drank some local white wine. A wonderful experience. An excellent lunch in a wonderful setting.
In 1717 in Peschiera, the fishermen decided to insist that the Senate of Venice prohibit certain types of nets considered dangerous for the fish species. At the end of the century, the fame of Monte Isola as a land of weavers of fishing nets was already well established. In 1797, due to the French occupation by Napoleon Bonaparte's troops, the Republic of Venice and its dominion over Lake Iseo fell. On the way to Peschiera we can admire these trees, unusually planted in the water. They are bald cypress, also called swamp cypress, whose scientific name is Taxodium disticum, native to the southeastern states of the United States, where they characterize the many marshy and periodically submerged areas. Steam navigation began starting from the early 1830s in Loreto, with the first boat making the Loreto-Sarnico journey.
And I must point out this wonderful boat. And I can't believe my eyes. Take a look at this silo parking structure for motorcycles and scooters. And here we are in Peschiera, and since it is afternoon, what should we do? Another stop to drink a nice cocktail and to buy the typical salami of the area.
The distinguishing feature of Monte Isola salami is that the meat is cut with a knife and smoked in special cellars called Ca del Salam, where a lit fireplace maintains the temperature and gives the product its characteristic flavor.
This moment is worth more than 1,000 words. Life in Peschiera, like the other towns on Monte Isola, is not limited to just a walk along the lakeside, but you can take the first path and you find yourself in front of another reality. Other shops, people who work, who live, who look, who search. Between June 18th and July 3rd, 2016, Bulgarian artist Christo created the Floating Piers project,
a significant episode of great media resonance of Lake Iseo towards contemporary art. Visitors were able to walk along the installation that extended between Salzano, Monte Isola, and the island of San Paolo. A moment of silence. Let's listen to the breath of Lake Iseo. An old stone mill stands out, symbolizing how agriculture is an active part of the economic life of the island. The mild climate of the island allows the cultivation of olives, grapes, and saffron.
As you can see, the olive trees grow on the rock.
Nets have been produced in Monte Isola for centuries, first manually in homes, then by hand in the first mechanized workshops, and finally, during the 20th century, in real factories. The past, of immense socio-economic and anthropological value, is documented in the Net Museum, in the port of Siviano. The museum is private and is located inside the oldest net factory on Monte Isola, now home to weaver Loreto. The museum was created in homage to this tradition and presents a rich collection of documents, tools, and historical black and white images that narrate what for centuries was the main activity on the island, together with fishing.
This is how our walk on Monte Isola ended.